Welcome to the Sewer Wealth Podcast, where we bring you the timeless wisdom of the world's greatest business and wealth-building books. In each episode, we break down proven strategies from legendary minds, so you can apply them to your own journey toward financial freedom and success. So, get ready to unlock the secrets of success, one book at a time.
Welcome to the deep dive. For this session, you handed us a real classic, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
A foundational text for many.
Yeah, it's been around forever, hasn't it? Promising, the secrets to wealth, our mission today. Kind of sift through it.
Right.
Find the genuine nuggets, especially those relevant to actually building wealth, keeping our Sure Wealth podcast listeners in mind.
And importantly, do it without getting totally lost in it. It's dense.
It is considerable, yeah. And, you hear that most self-made millionaires don't win the lottery, so it makes you wonder, what is the real secret sauce?
Exactly. And that's precisely why we're diving into this book that you specifically picked. It shows you're serious about getting into the mindset, the principles behind wealth accumulation for your audience.
We'll try.
And it's worth remembering the sheer scale of the research here. 25 years, Hill claimed. And a reported, $100,000 investment by Andrew Carnegie way back then? To uncover these insights, that's a serious commitment to figuring out how wealth is built, not just, stumbled upon.
Absolutely. And Carnegie's ambition was huge, wasn't it? He wanted to share this secret, quote unquote, of riches with everyone. Hill took up that mantle, promising this book holds the key, if you're ready to find it. And here's where it gets real interesting. The book apparently mentions this secret over 100 times, but never actually names it.
Right. That's the famous hook, isn't it?
It is. So as we go through this, maybe keep your ears peeled, maybe you'll crack the code, and think about Charles M. Schwab.
Okay.
Applying this very secret informing U.S. Steel was supposedly worth a jaw-dropping $600 million back then. Opportunity, money, the whole deal.
$600 million. That's staggering for the time.
Talk about return on investment. It makes you think, doesn't it? The secret, it's got to be more than just luck.
Indeed. So let's dive into the first principle. Hill really hammers home right from the start.
The power of desire.
Okay, desire. Let's unpack this with that story of Edwin C. Barnes.
Yeah.
This guy had this serious itch to work with Thomas Edison, not just for him.
Right. The distinction is important. With, not for our.
Exactly. And it wasn't some vague wish. Hill calls it a definite desire, like needing air. And the obstacles, huge.
Yeah.
Didn't know Edison, totally broke, had to hop a freight train, the blind baggage they called it, just to get to Edison's lab in Jersey.
Wow. That's commitment.
It really is. It's like showing up to a party you weren't invited to, but knowing exactly who you need to talk to.
And what's fascinating is the sheer determination. Edison himself apparently said Barnes looked like a tramp.
Probably did.
But there was something in his face, that just screamed, I'm getting what I came for. Edison had seen tons of people with fleeting ambitions.
Yeah. But he recognized that deep, unwavering desire. He said when someone desires something so intensely, they'll bet their whole future on it. Well, they're bound to win.
That's powerful.
The real nugget here for you, for the listeners, is understanding wealth isn't attracted to wishful thinking. It's drawn to that laser-focused, almost obsessive desire that forces action, even when things look impossible.
That really hits home, doesn't it? For anyone thinking about their own financial goals, you have to ask, is my desire burning? Is it definite or just a nice to have?
Exactly.
And what obstacles am I really willing to just bulldoze through? Because it's not always going to be easy street on the wealth train, is it?
Definitely not.
It makes you wonder how many people give up right before they strike gold just because the desire wasn't strong enough.
Certainly happens. And Hill backs this up with that story about the Chicago fire in Marshall Field.
Oh, right. The department store guy.
Yeah. While other merchants saw the smoking ruins and thought, okay, time to leave, Field apparently stood there and said he'd rebuild the world's greatest store on that exact spot, no matter how many times it burned down.
That's that burning desire to win right there, like a phoenix, but with a really ambitious business plan.
Exactly. It's that refusal to be defeated, that almost stubborn belief.
The book makes it pretty clear. You can't expect riches in great quantities without that white heat of desire for money and a real belief you'll possess it.
It's conviction.
Yeah, not just wanting, conviction. It almost sounds like you need to be a little bit Obsessed.
In a focused way, yes. And that brings us neatly to the next crucial principle, faith.
Okay, faith.
And this isn't necessarily, religious faith in the book's context, but more an unwavering belief in yourself and your ability to achieve those desires.
Right, that inner knowing even when everything outside says no way.
Precisely.
This chapter, wow, it hit me with the personal story of Hill and his son who was born deaf.
Yeah, that's a powerful one.
Imagine being told your baby will likely never hear or speak normally. That's crushing.
Yeah.
But Hill refused to accept it. His burning desire for his son to have a normal life fueled this incredible faith.
It's an amazing example of, desire fueling faith, isn't it?
It really is.
And what's remarkable is how Hill actively cultivated that faith in his son. He didn't just hope. He basically sold the kid on the idea that his deafness was an advantage.
Seriously. How?
He convinced him teachers would give him special attention, that people would pay him extra for newspapers because they'd see this bright, industrious kid overcoming a handicap.
That's some serious parental Jedi mind trickery.
Kind of, but it worked. The son learned to hear and speak almost normally. The powerful takeaway isn't just positive thinking. It's about conviction so strong it can, reshape reality, create opportunities from limitations.
Seeing possibilities where others just see problems. So that's the question for you, the listener, isn't it? Do you truly believe you can build wealth, regardless of where you are now? Are you focused on limitations or finding potential advantages, even in challenges?
How often do we talk ourselves out of things?
Too often.
And Hill defines faith as this eternal elixir. Gives life, power, action to your thoughts. It's the starting point for all accumulation of riches, he says.
A starting point, okay.
But it's a double-edged sword. He points out your subconscious mind. Well, it doesn't judge. It acts on thoughts driven by fear just as readily as those driven by courage or faith.
Oof. That's sobering.
Yeah, he even uses the really stark term mental suicide for extreme negative suggestion. It's like your mind's a garden. You got to consciously plant the seeds of belief you want to grow, otherwise weeds take over.
Weeds of fear and doubt. Got to be so careful about the stories we tell ourselves. Hill even mentions figures like Christ and Gandhi, how their faith moved millions. Makes you wonder about the untapped power in belief.
It certainly does. And the next principle, auto-suggestion, is essentially the tool we use to consciously plant those seeds, to cultivate faith and desire in the subconscious.
Auto-suggestion. Okay, so fancy term for talking to yourself, but with a purpose.
Pretty much, but structured.
Yeah.
Hill says it's the agency, the channel, to influence your subconscious, to actually transmute desire into, cold, hard cash.
Right. Not enough to just want it. Got to feed that desire into the subconscious consistently, constantly reminding yourself of your destination on a long trip.
Exactly. And he stresses that the other principles we're talking about, they're basically tools to make auto-suggestion work.
Okay.
The first crucial step, formulate a definite written statement of your desire. How much money, by when, what you'll give in return. Then a clear plan to get it. And writing it down. That's the first concrete step. Makes the intangible tangible.
So for you listening, this isn't just theory. What's your written statement? Got a concrete plan? And how often are you actively reinforcing it? Reading it, visualizing, making those wealth thoughts dominant, like a personal mantra for money.
Precisely. Moving on, Hill tackles a big one. Specialized knowledge. And he kind of busts a myth right away. Knowledge is power. Incorrect, he says.
Finally.
Yep.
Someone said it. We all know super knowledgeable people who aren't exactly rolling in it. So what's the missing link for wealth building?
Organization and intelligent direction. Knowledge is only potential power. It's like having a garage full of tools but never building anything.
Great analogy.
It only becomes actual power when it's organized into practical plans of action, aimed specifically at accumulating money. He argues traditional education, while valuable, often fails to teach us how to apply knowledge for wealth generation. Too much theory, not enough practical strategy for making money.
That makes so much sense. You think about Edison, minimal formal schooling, Henry Ford, less than 6th grade.
Right.
Neither were short on the specialized knowledge they needed for their ambitions, and they certainly knew how to use it to build empires.
Exactly. The key is, first, decide what specific knowledge you need for your wealth goals. Then, figure out how to get it. Experience, libraries, school, special courses. Lots of ways.
Right.
And Hill makes a good point. Employers often value people who take home study courses.
Yeah.
Shows initiative, self-discipline. They're proactive.
So it's not just the diploma, it's the continuous hunt for relevant knowledge and the drive to apply it strategically for wealth. Which leads us nicely, I think, into organized planning.
Yes, you need a plan.
Because desire, knowledge, great. But without a solid plan, you're just spinning your wheels, right? Like having all the ingredients, but no recipe.
Absolutely. Hill shares this compelling story about a woman. She created this incredibly detailed personal service sales plan for her son to help him get a job during tough times.
Not just a resume, then.
Oh, way beyond that. It was meticulously researched, outlined his abilities, experience, a clear plan for how he'd excel, even suggestions for the employer. Took weeks. Library research, competitor analysis, the works.
Wow, talk about going the extra mile. It sounds like she ran a marathon just to get him an interview.
But it worked, and it highlights that even when you're marketing your own skills, which is how many start building wealth, a detailed strategic plan is crucial to stand out, command higher income. Not just showing up, but showing up with a strategy, like a general before battle.
Yeah, a battle plan for your career or business.
And he also drops in the mastermind idea here, suggesting a small group could collaborate to market their services even more effectively, leveraging collective intelligence.
Which we'll get to more later, yeah. But it's a great segue into imagination, because once you have the desire, the knowledge, you need imagination to actually create those plans, don't you?
You absolutely do.
Like the architect visualizing the building before the first brick?
Precisely. Hill argues that, within reason, our only real limit is in developing and using our imagination. He splits it into two types.
Okay.
Synthetic imagination, arranging old ideas, concepts, plans into new combinations, like combining online retail with personalized recommendations. That's synthetic.
Got it. Mixing and matching.
Then there's creative imagination, where genuinely new insights, hunches, inspirations come from, like a truly novel invention. He notes, though, that synthetic imagination is the one used most often to convert desire into money.
So you don't necessarily need to invent the next iPhone. Often it's taking existing stuff and combining it innovatively to solve problems, create value.
Exactly. And the key takeaway for your wealth journey is actively use your imagination to build those plans.
Yeah.
And again, writing down the desire, writing down the plan, it forces you to give concrete form to what starts as just a thought. Like making a blueprint for your financial future.
Blueprint for wealth. I like that.
Exactly. And once those plans start taking shape, the next crucial element is decision.
Decision. Or rather, indecision. The paralysis of analysis. We've all been there.
Haven't we just? Hill stresses the absolute necessity of prompt, definite decisions for success. Leaders, he says, decide quickly, firmly.
It's like ripping off a bandage, isn't it? Faster is usually better in the long run.
Kind of. And what's fascinating is how he links indecision to habit. Often started in youth, he thinks, may be made worse by education systems not emphasizing definite purpose.
Interesting take.
And he makes this stark claim. Poverty is actually attracted to a mind favorable to it, just like money is drawn to a mind prepared to attract it.
Whoa. So your mindset is like a magnet, attracting either abundance or lack.
That's the idea. It suggests a poverty consciousness can develop almost passively, without effort. But a money consciousness, that has to be created deliberately, through effort and, crucially, decisive action.
No more fence-sitting about your financial future, then.
Exactly. But even with the best plans, firmest decisions, you will face setbacks. That's where persistence comes in.
Oh, persistence. The unsung hero, maybe. Hill's really clear. Without it, you will be defeated. Game over.
He doesn't mince words.
No. He shares stories like Fannie Hurst, Kate Smith, years of rejection on Broadway, but they just kept going. Relentless persistence, finally massive success. Like they had a never give up button hardwired in.
Right. And he breaks down what weakens persistence. Things like no definite desire, procrastination, lack of interest, indecision, making excuses, self-satisfaction, indifference, lots of pitfalls.
Yeah, the usual suspects that derail us.
But conversely, he lists what builds it. Definiteness of purpose, burning desire, self-reliance, definite plans, accurate knowledge, cooperation, willpower, and making persistence a habit.
It's a whole ecosystem, isn't it? Persistence isn't just gritting your teeth. It's fueled by all these other positive things.
Absolutely. It's not blind stubbornness.
It's interesting. Even Andrew Carnegie, apparently worried about Hill facing criticism for dedicating 20 years to this, shows even the giants have doubts, but they persist. And Murray Dressler finding success late in life, great reminder, it's never too late if you keep at it.
Indeed. And that brings us finally to the power of the mastermind. This is where collaboration really kicks in for accelerating wealth building.
Okay, the mastermind. Sounds a bit mysterious, like a secret society.
Maybe a little. But Hill defines it pretty clearly. Coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people working in harmony towards a definite purpose.
Okay, so teamwork, basically.
Strategic teamwork. He says no individual achieves great power, especially financial power, without tapping into a mastermind in some form.
So power isn't just individual strength.
Not in this context. It's organized and intelligently directed knowledge and organized effort, like combining the horsepower of multiple engines all pulling in the same direction. He reiterates having your own plans, but stresses getting them checked, approved by your mastermind alliance, getting a diverse perspectives, finding blind spots you missed.
So like having your own personal board of advisors, people with different skills, viewpoints, offering support.
Exactly like that. Think about your current network. Who complements your skills? Whose perspective challenges you constructively? How would you proactively build an alliance for your wealth goals?
That's a practical question for listeners, and Hill even mentions a psychic phase.
Yeah, he does. This affinity, this harmony that forms when minds are coordinated, he believed it increased thought energy, like multiple batteries boosting the power. Sounds a bit esoteric, maybe.
A little bit.
But the core idea of collective intelligence, of synergy, that's definitely powerful and well recognized today.
Sure. Makes sense.
He uses Henry Ford as a prime example. Ford had vision and drive, sure, but his progress really accelerated after befriending Edison.
Ah, the mastermind connection again.
Right. And later friendships with Firestone, Burroughs, Burbank, all brilliant minds. It underscores how surrounding yourself with the right people amplifies your own power, your potential for wealth.
Choosing your circle wisely.
Critically important. And he ends this chapter with a crucial reminder. Positive emotions of thought lead to fortune. Negative emotions lead to poverty. Your mastermind group should ideally foster those positive, supportive energies.
Okay, so bringing it all together for you, our listener, on the Sure Wealth podcast journey. A few key takeaways really jump out from this deep dive, looking through that wealth building lens. First, that definite desire. It needs to be burning hot, a real conviction driving action.
Absolutely.
Second, cultivating unwavering faith in your ability to achieve it. Actively fighting those limiting beliefs about money.
Crucial.
Then getting the right specialized knowledge for your goals. And, key point, organizing it into detailed, actionable plans.
Can't skip the plan.
And making prompt decisions. Sticking with them through thick and thin, that persistence we talked about, vital for the often bumpy road to wealth.
Definitely need resilience.
And finally, leveraging that mastermind principle, surrounding yourself with supportive, like-minded people for insights, accountability, and just collective energy.
Well summarized. And in terms of actionable advice, maybe start right now by really identifying that burning desire for wealth. What does it truly mean to you? Beyond just a number.
Good point. Deeper than just dollars.
Then start formulating a concrete plan, even a small first step you can take today. And as you do, keep that idea of the secret in the back of your mind. Which of these principles, for you personally, resonates most strongly for your financial goals?
Yeah, which ones hit home? Which might you need to strengthen in your own wealth process?
Exactly.
That's a fantastic point. And maybe for a final provocative thought, as you consider applying these principles, Hill mentions that idea, man is the master of his own earthly destiny through influencing his subconscious.
Powerful idea.
So consider which of these principles you can start applying immediately, right now, to take more control of your mindset and ultimately your financial future. Maybe it's defining that desire, or maybe it's reaching out to one potential mastermind partner.
Given that you chose this book for our deep dive, we're genuinely keen to hear which principles strike a chord with your own wealth journey. Feel free to connect, share your thoughts.
Yeah, we'd love that. Thanks for diving deep with us into Think and Grow Rich and its enduring wisdom on wealth building. Until next time.